Matt Hardy. Thank you for watching the Gimme A Hull Yeah Wrestling Podcast.
Hello and a very warm welcome to the Gimme A Hull Yeah Wrestling Podcast. My name is Ant. I'm joined by... As usual, we've just filmed this. We said we're going to rush through this to get back to where we was, and yet he still does that long dom. We're also joined by our very special guest.
That's right. That's right, Anthony.
From the Ringsiders Wrestling on YouTube. You can go check them out. We have the charismatic Enigma, Callum.
You got it right this time. You didn't say enigmatic Enigma. And I'd like my new nickname on the podcast to be Long Dom.
The Long Dom.
The Long Dom.
The Long Dom, I like it.
In need of some manscaping.
It's funny because your girlfriend told me it was a short dom. And also from the Ringsiders Wrestling, we are joined by the Doc Hendricks to our Todd Pettingale. It is Jeremiah.
Rock and roll.
Thank you so much. So these guys are also from Hull. They have a great wrestling podcast on YouTube, so go check them out. They've got loads of interviews on there, loads of weekly news stuff, incredible thumbnails. Go check them out. I'm sure you'll enjoy all their content. They're wearing the Manscaped t-shirts because they sold out.
No, Anthony. No, they bought in. They bought in. They bought in for the sake of their balls.
Wow, there we go. So you can be assured that they are clean in all areas. Rock and roll, we're going to talk about the wrestling news. Is that all right with you, dudes?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Also, at the end of the podcast...
You call them dads.
I know. At the end of this podcast, we're going to do our predictions for Backlash because we've not done them on the channel. But we're going to do this week's news and talk about everything that's happened if we can. So let's start off with our new women's tag team champions. It's Sasha and Bayley.
I think we let our guests take it away. So go on, guys. What do you think first?
Oh, little Callum machines.
Do you want me to go first, Jamie?
That's what I just said that for. So yeah.
Okay, right.
He's adorable, isn't he? He's just too cute. Go on.
I don't know how to put up with this, but yeah, thank you. So yeah, I think it's fantastic that they're tag team champions again because hopefully this will lead to that main roster feud, the one that they've been teasing, well, for the last 2 years, 3 years, who knows, forever. And as far as I know, they haven't actually feuded on the main roster yet. They've just teased it for numerous times. It seems like they've teased it at least 2 or 3 times over the last few years. So yeah, fantastic. Cannot wait for them to feud. And I think it's setting up nicely now that they're tag team champions together. Somebody's going to turn on somebody, or somebody is going to be angry when they lose those championships. And I think it's going to be, we see a heel Bayley and a face Sasha. Do you guys think it's going to be that way around, or?
Yeah, well, we in our dress rehearsal, we discussed this a little bit, and I think that I'm a huge fan of Sasha as a face. I think she's magnetic as a face. Bayley, as you mentioned, she needed the heel turn to make her character interesting. I think I've never really, and you can lynch me if you like, but I've never really bought into Bayley as a face or as a character really until she turned heel. That's just my opinion, but she was lacking character. I genuinely think there was a real lack of something to really spark, good angles and good character work within Bayley. But that's just me. So the heel turn really reignited her. I think her career in WWE. I don't think there would have been much more long-term stuff they could have done with Bayley as a face at that time.
Yeah, I agree. I think she'd become stale. She was almost like that female John Cena, where it was, yeah. And I was longing for a heel turn for so long, and it finally came. And, like I said in the dress rehearsal, she's embraced it. She's embraced the heel turn. She's cut her hair, dyed it darker, new theme music, she dresses darker. She's horrible. And she's embraced it. And like you say with Sasha Banks has got it.
Yeah.
Regardless of her being a face or a heel, she gets that massive reaction. Mm-hmm. So I think Sasha going this year as the babyface is where the money's going to be at. And when they finally pull that trigger, I can't wait.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
It seems that WWE, when they're put in these difficult positions, because apparently this was supposed to happen this year, and I assume it would have been a SummerSlam build, which is great, but they've sort of pushed it off. And I actually think that in the years of been telling this story, there's been times where it's been really poorly done, like the whole counselors stuff from a few years ago that was just really rubbish, and it didn't sort of build it. Now they're sort of put in this situation and they're forced to tell the story, and they're actually telling a really good story with it. And Sasha and Bayley are doing outstanding. In terms of Bayley as a face, I quite liked her as a face. I thought that she was quite unique. I thought it could have been really corny and difficult to wear that gimmick, but I thought she did a really good job. Heel turn, great. I think she's doing a wonderful job at that as well. So good for her.
Absolutely.
Cool. Any more thoughts on that? Oh, yeah. So tag team titles, they mean nothing. What do they need to do, man?
I mean, having the Iconics back was a good idea, but I don't know what that's. I don't know.
You need more female teams. Where are they all? It seems to be the same three: the Iconics, Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss, and Sasha and Bayley.
You know, I don't get, dude. They've got them all. They've got them all in different brands. There should be a brand, a belt that goes across the brands. Ginny and Jazza Gabbert?
Gabbert, yeah.
That's it. They should hold it, from NXT UK. That'd be wonderful.
It's meant to be into brand. When the belts first came back, the first thing they said was, "Oh, we'll defend these across NXT, NXT UK, Raw, SmackDown."
I think we've had one, haven't we? I think we had one. Kairi Sane and Asuka go on NXT one time for
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I say, hopefully it'll interject some intrigue into the tag team division, the women's tag team division, in the way that Nikki Cross. I think it's difficult because I like Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross as a team, but again, there's something missing for me. I don't know whether I'm just hypercritical this evening, but I really like.
I think it's lack of story, dude. There's no story for Nikki and Alexa.
Mm.
There's an obvious story for Sasha and Bayley that we're all excited to sort of follow. So I think it does elevate the belts a little bit, actually, just in terms of giving that belt a story.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens, I guess.
We will. Let's talk a little bit else about SmackDown. Did anyone see Brie Bella's tweet last week?
Oh.
So she posted up a photo of a IC championship with Daniel Bryan's nameplates on them, sat on the kitchen table. What? What a plonker!
I mean,
can you imagine Daniel's reaction when he was like, "All right, Bria, what are you doing?" Just taking a picture. What of? Championship.
Get it down. Get it down.
Instagram. What?
I mean,
no.
Mark Carrano was on the phone, wasn't
he?
Yeah. So they've tried to do damage control. AJ Styles has shown it on his kitchen counter. I think Brie thought that the match had happened. That's why she took a photo of it, because she doesn't watch SmackDown, I assume. So I took a photo of it. It was like, I'm really proud of my husband, and spoiled it for all of us.
Yeah, well, they don't need to care. They don't need to care, do they? They're fine. They're like super hairy and super fine. You know what I mean? They just get on with their lives and.
Who's super hairy? Brie.
Well, she's got a lot of hair. Is what I'm saying.
What?
Sorry, guys, this is what I deal with on the podcast. Can anyone explain what he is talking about?
Well, Daniel Bryan's super hairy and Brie's got hair. That's as good as I could make it. That was the connection.
Does that make, any couple super hairy?
Yes. We're a four-way of very hairy people.
I'm just imagining Brie Bella with a hairy chest.
Well, exactly. There you go. I inadvertently sorted out some sponsorship. You go, a sponsorship tag. Yeah, cool.
Jeremiah, you got any thoughts on Brie Bella, dude?
Is this a PG podcast?
It sort of is. But you keep them thoughts in your head.
But what I did read though is, what that aside is, this is apparently supposed to be one of the best matches you'll ever see on SmackDown. So result aside, it's going to be a classic apparently. So I know we'll all watch it regardless because of the guys that are in it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Brie, that's just Brie being Brie. You know, she is my favourite of the Bellas. So I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, I think it is. It's a bit disappointing that the results being spoiled, but yeah, I can't wait to watch it. It's one of them that I'll actually not just watch the highlights of. I'll actually watch the match.
Yeah, that doesn't happen much nowadays. I can get through SmackDown in 2 minutes if I need to.
Well, I was gonna say you watch AEW and like NXT at the same time. Like, dude, that's insane. That's
dedication.
insane.
I love Wednesdays for wrestling.
Monday
and Friday, can't give a shit. But I love Wednesdays.
It's safe to say as well that Callum is the Vince McMahon of our show.
Oh God, here we go. Can you just let it go? Like
Callum doesn't sleep.
Okay. I thought you meant because I'm a tyrant or power hungry or something. If it's my work ethic, then yeah, absolutely.
Now you mention it, Mr. Callum, sir, the exalted one. But no, Callum doesn't sleep. Callum is our Vince. Callum is up and he will watch Dynamite and NXT, then go to bed at 7 in the morning, won't you?
I mean, I respect that, man. I really do. I do respect it for sure. You know, it's hard to do any time in watching any form of wrestling, like all the way through. But to watch them concurrently, side by side, that's
let's talk about what happened last weekend. NXT Takeover in your house. We've not sort of given any thoughts on our channel yet, so we'll get a few thoughts out. I quite enjoyed it. I thought it was all right. I thought it was a little bit lacking in pace at times. I quite enjoyed the Adam Cole Velveteen Dream match, but again, I thought there was times where it lacked a little bit of pace.
There's another one.
Plodded along.
There's another one I didn't bring up in the rehearsal, right? What are you supposed to do with a Velveteen Dream now? What are you supposed to do with Johnny Gargano? Because he didn't
What you do is you tell a story, right? And if you tell stories, it can actually be interesting. If you look at another wrestling show like AEW, for example, that tells stories. Cody Rhodes can't fight for the championship. He will never be able to. And yet they are able to tell stories around it. There's no reason why it should get stale, but that's part of my problem with WWE at the minute. They sort of put these matches on that mean nothing.
Well, segue into my news piece that I selected because I want to talk about it with you guys, which was Randy Orton sending a knee-slapping tweet in response to NXT TakeOver and how good he thought it was. There was a heavy hint of sarcasm there from Randall. But you know, is that a match you guys want to see? Tommaso Ciampa responded.
Sure.
Of course. You know, he responded, you know, is that a match you want to see, Randy Orton versus Ciampa?
I guess. I can't say it was on my book.
Was it on your bucket list?
Oh, Callum's frozen this time.
Oh, no.
Callum has frozen.
Oh, no.
Jeremiah, what do you think?
I cannot wait for this match to happen. Regardless of what you think, Randy Orton is one of the greatest of all time. There's nothing that guy cannot do in that ring.
Absolutely.
He has everything down to a T. The little mannerisms, the little facial expressions, everything.
He's incredible.
So him and Ciampa, take my money. I'll pay for that right now. Whether it happens, you know, I'm sure it'll happen in the future. When, I don't know. But God, yeah, my God, what a match that'd be.
Yeah, I agree. I think it'd be great. But Vince isn't happy about it, Dom?
Yeah, apparently Vince is really angry about it.
Because he's a control freak.
Whether it's about spoilers for the future or whether the tweets weren't sanctioned from Randy. But there's something, there's something kicking off there. I think it's a bit like the Riddle and Lesnar thing. Like, obviously, we're told it's not going to happen, but it's definitely going to happen at some point. But my question, like I say, is with those guys, with guys like Ciampa, Gargano, Lee, Balor particularly now. I mean, I know I sort of just caught up with, like, briefly read into what happened on NXT this week, but I really struggle to see what's next for those guys because they've done everything, particularly Ciampa, particularly Gargano, have done everything, in NXT. So what else are they going to do?
My fear is that a guy like Gargano gets to Raw, SmackDown, and Vince doesn't get it. I fear.
What do you mean? He comes up and Vince is like, "Oh, who's this guy? Oh, it's Johnny Gargano. He's really good in the ring."
Callum, what they could do is
5'8".
What they could do, Callum, is put them in a tag team when they were feuding against each other and bring them up to the line that way. I mean, we've seen it before.
He's already debuted on the main roster. I completely forgot about that.
Yeah,
Oh, yes. I worry about guys like him because Vince likes his big men, and I worry. I guess, like you said, now NXT, I guess it's not the developmental brand now, is it? So can you just move these guys around now? So I think you're saying Gargano to SmackDown for a few months, and maybe he comes back to NXT to do some more, then goes off to Raw and so on. So I mean, that could work.
Well, Charlotte Flair's doing it, so why not everyone else?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So why?
There we go.
I love that. No one's even questioned her, like, "Hey, Charlotte, you can't be on this show." She's just got an open pass to go wherever she wants.
They tried to explain it a couple of weeks ago, where they were like, "Oh yeah, we're allowing them 4 crossovers per year or something like that," and she's already broken it.
I spoke to a friend of mine, an old friend of mine, who's now the resident wrestling journalist for the Metro, and I know he's spoken to her before. And there's a couple of key quotes where she's basically said, "I can do that because I am the main event every time. Everywhere I go, I'm the main event."
That's not how it works, Charlotte. That's not in your contract. Your contract is for one show. You don't get to decide where you go.
No, Vince tells her to go everywhere. We need to make this better. But to be honest, she is the best women's wrestler in the world, I think, probably.
And we all know she's breaking her dad's record, right?
Yes.
Oh yeah, totally.
Probably by next month.
Yeah.
Let's go back on to NXT TakeOver in Your House. Callum, what did you think of the pay-per-view, man?
I thought it was amazing. A great trip down nostalgia street. I hope they do it again next year. Make it an annual thing. It needs to stick. Like I love that NXT's like its own little bubble where you've got war games and like all these throwbacks. Bring back In Your House as like an annual thing. Have NXT Halloween Havoc, for example. Or
that'd be class.
Just have all these retro-themed pay-per-views for NXT because I just think it fits perfectly.
I think it's also nostalgia done really well as well.
Yeah.
The Todd Pettingill stuff, he was like the best thing on that In Your House.
Yeah. That made it for me. Just seeing Todd Pettingill, I was like, yeah.
Yeah,
I've not seen the matches. I've seen Todd Pettingill. I'm done. I'm all right.
It's like the internet jokes. Todd Pettingill was like referencing like dial-up internet, and they had Shawn Michaels and Triple H struggling to use the computer. It was brilliant. It was really cool.
He's always struggled to use the computer. Though. Anytime we've seen him on like one of the original In Your Houses, where he's like.
That was
that was 20 years ago, bad. He's never got round to. I mean, he's still trying to log on to AOL now.
I can't laugh at that because that's literally me now, isn't it, Callum? So I mean,
you every day, mate. You every day.
I tried to turn Callum's laptop on by touching the screen not that long ago.
I had to explain to him it wasn't touchscreen. He's basically Shawn Michaels.
At least he didn't try to delete something with Tipex. Jeremiah, what did you think of In Your House?
No, again, sorry, I was laughing.
It's all right. Please don't laugh. What did you think of In Your House?
Don't laugh on this podcast. It's not allowed. No.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. I don't think I've ever seen a bad takeover. I like Callum, so I love the nostalgia with the setup with Todd Pettingill. But it made me realise how much you're missing a crowd because the crowd of NXT are red hot. And that was the only thing for me that I felt like this is where you needed a crowd.
Yeah.
Because, they bring TakeOver to life, them fans. But otherwise, I thought it was amazing. I think Karrion Kross, my prediction is your next NXT champion. I think he's going to be a megastar. Io Shirai, finally getting what she deserves.
Yeah,
I just amazing. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, it was interesting that last match. What do we think about her winning it in a 3-way?
I think it works. I think it was good. I thought it was the right call.
Charlotte.
It didn't need to be like that. It could have just been Rhea Ripley drops it to Io Shirai. Why did it have to go to Charlotte to give it to Io Shirai?
Well, I think some plans have changed. I think that the whole Becky Lynch thing has made them change the plans ever so slightly. I suspect, and this is just pure speculation, that Ronda's coming back soon, was going to have a feud with Becky. Becky got pregnant. They said to Charlotte, we'll drop the belt so you can do that thing with Ronda.
Right. Yeah, well, it makes sense, to be fair.
About right.
Yeah, you know, and that's the biggest star that you can put in there with Ronda.
But then, to be honest, I'd prefer seeing Asuka versus Ronda. So, if it was built properly,
I feel like Asuka would just lose the belt, and then it'd just be back to Ronda and Ronda dominant. I mean,
yep.
Whereas at least with Charlotte, I don't know if that'd happen or not. I don't know.
We'll see. We can only speculate at this point, but
we can.
Charlotte and Ronda as well. That feud doesn't need a belt for me.
No.
You're right. Actually, no, he doesn't need a belt at all.
Also, in that match, Charlotte and Rhea Ripley have incredible chemistry.
Yeah,
like Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart levels of magic. Really.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking forward to seeing more of those guys for sure.
And speaking of Shawn Michaels, God, my segues are good tonight. Let's talk about Shawn Michaels backstage at In Your House. Apparently got into a heated debate at NXT TakeOver with the producer of the show, discussing the current social climate, talking about prejudice and inequality within the WWE and how it is still there.
Can I just say, when I first saw this news story, it was Shawn Michaels gets into altercation over current events, and I thought, oh, Shawn, what have you said now?
He super kicked somebody. Super kick. You know, he likes to
he was on
people.
He was on the good side. Like he was the one who was sticking up for what's going on right now. Like he was on the side of Black Lives Matter, which is fantastic, because when I read the headline, I was like, great, Shawn's,
messed up again.
Or something. I'm gonna have to. He's my favorite wrestler of all time. I'm gonna have to disown him now. But no, he was telling this guy, here's why you're wrong. Here's why this is important to people. And people are still misrepresented. And I've never been so proud to be a Shawn Michaels fan.
Yeah.
I've never been so proud to be Shawn Michaels' father.
My question is, which producer's getting fired? That's what I want to know.
I want to know who that is.
Yeah, he is not keeping his job, is he? Unfortunately, you can't mess with HBK. On that note, just before we finish, it was great to see Keith Lee out there, obviously repping the BLM gear. That was fantastic. A really good addition to the pay-per-view. Obviously very topical at the moment, and to see Keith out there putting on a great performance, sort of standing up for it was amazing. One of my highlights, aside from some of the matches, particularly the Balor and Damian Priest match, which I thought was fantastic. On the whole, though, a brilliant pay-per-view that I would like to see return.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. Jeremiah, anything about Shawn Michaels?
Good one, Jamie.
We've gone back to Shawn. Shawn Michaels.
Well, you went back to In Your House. I was just trying to get us back on track. Shawn Michaels, Jeremiah.
I agree with Callum. It was when I first read it, I was like, "Oh, Shawn, you've done so well." But to hear it with him standing up for this cause, it was wonderful to hear. And the fact that, from what I heard, he actually got quite emotional as well. I'm a Carmen. Shawn Michaels is, for me, he's the greatest. I mean, Ric Flair is the greatest to me, but Shawn Michaels is right there next to him. So it was nice to hear. He's grown up a lot, hasn't he? A hell of a lot from some of the silly antics he was doing years ago. Dom, anything on Shawn Michaels? Great to hear. Like I say, I'm a big advocate for self-awareness and growth and stuff. I think Shawn Michaels has exhibited that over the last 10, 15 years since his career's wound down. He's become a ambassador for NXT, also NXT UK. I know he shows up there quite a lot. So, it's great to see him, at this point in his career, still finding ways to inspire and motivate not only the wrestlers, but also the fans. Okay, and let's pose for Shawn Michaels in 3, 2, 1. Awesome. Next up, we have Jinder Mahal. He was set to feud with Drew McIntyre. We all guessed that was going to happen. And Jeremiah's
passed out.
Yeah, he's so excited to talk about Jinder Mahal.
I believe the Ringsiders don't call him Jinder Mahal. Maybe that's why they're upset. Because go ahead.
Yes, I know what's coming. So let him have his moment. Look at his face. Just let him have his moment.
I love Jinder Mahal. Like,
Me too.
unironically as
Me
well.
too.
Biggest Jinder, well, apart from yourself, maybe we can both be Jinder's biggest fans. We're probably the only two fans, but
yeah, totally.
I love the guy. And when I found out he was meant to be feuding with Drew, I'm so happy because I love Drew. I love Jinder. I love 3MB. And it was like that. It was all coming full circle. Yeah. And then bloody injury. Are you kidding me? I've never been so livid to find out a match had been cancelled. So I'm hoping Jinder gets like a Triple H 2002 return pop when he comes back. You know,
no chance.
His music plays, crowd goes crazy. The roof comes off.
Yeah,
it's Jinder. He's back.
The Maharaja. Yeah, absolutely.
Callum, what are you on about?
I would be totally fine with that, and I totally agree that it could happen. It could happen. It could happen.
It will happen.
I believe in Jinder.
Jamie, save me, man. Jamie, save me. Sorry, Jinder.
Justice for Jinder. That's the way.
I want to go on record. I actually don't mind Jinder. I just think wrestle Jinder's a bit boring. That's all. All right. He's a nice. I'm sure he's a nice guy, and
he is a nice guy. I went drinking with Jinder on Bourbon Street. I would know, but
nice.
Did you really?
Yeah, I actually did.
So this is why you love Jinder so much.
Yeah.
And the pun that I was getting across that you guys did on your podcast a while ago, which was hilarious, by the way, was he's not Jinder Mahal, he's Jinder Mahal.
Yes.
Jinder Mahal.
I liked it.
That's
I mean,
great.
the pop you're talking about is, it could happen in Saudi Arabia, maybe, I think. But I can't see that happening in America. People cheering Jinder.
Right, it's too big for America. You're right. It needs to be at the greatest WrestleMania in Saudi Arabia.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you're right. I didn't even think of that.
Madison Square Garden erupting for Jinder Mahal.
No, I couldn't see Madison Square Garden erupting for him because it's not big enough for that.
Yeah,
it's not. It has to be bigger than that. You're not thinking big enough for Jinder's return. So.
Dom, you've never talked about Jinder Mahal like this before. You're just sucking up to Callum.
It's because I'm afraid of your persecution because of my love of Jinder.
Sorry, speak out. I'm listening.
Yeah, thank you. Now I feel like I could speak out about Jinder.
Well,
some sort of Jinder support group now we've got going here.
I've been a Jinder fan, believe me.
Oh, I can imagine. Right, let's move on because this is getting ridiculous.
We could segue then nicely, actually. We could segue to one of my news pieces, which was Rhino on Impact this week.
That's not a segue! That's not a segue! Let's talk about something. We're going to segue into something completely different.
Hold on. Wait a minute. I'm going to talk about bloody Heath Slater, you knob. Right.
Oh, okay. Continue.
Right. Hold on.
Good segue, that.
Wait a minute. Everybody ready? Everybody quiet? Yep. Right. Okay. Rhino, right, on Impact. He's doing a promo. He's got a young guy. He was his tag team partner that he tried to teach respect, and he gored him the other week. Apparently, he annoyed Rhino, and they weren't a very good tag team. This promo happens where Rhino's backstage. This kid comes up, and he's like, "Why did you gore me? We're a tag team. We need to be a tag team. We're going to be a great tag team together." Rhino's like, "I don't need a tag team partner. I've already got a tag team partner, and he's got kids." Right? If that's not Heath Slater coming to Impact Wrestling, I don't know what is.
Well, it could be about 2 billion, 3 billion of people who have kids. Like it was quite vague with that.
Well, no. It's obvious because of his promo, right?
Yeah. It is.
Yeah.
He has got kids.
I mocked you two for your Jinder love, whereas I'm a Heath Slater guy.
Oh,
so.
God. Oh, what am I dealing with?
He's great too.
Slater fan.
It's great too, yeah.
He's great, yeah.
I mean, he's all right, but I mean, I'm not sort of getting a support network set up for... Go on, tell us why Heath Slater's great.
Those gingers have to stick together, right? I just love Heath Slater. There was always something about him that drew me in. He had personality, charisma.
Yeah.
You know, I personally would have loved to have seen an Intercontinental title run or something for Heath.
Yeah, you would. Yeah, you would, Jamie. That's it. It's all coming out now.
So Heath going to Impact, I think, would be fantastic. Getting him and Rhino back together. I'm a huge Impact fan. I think a lot of people, I say this all the time on our podcast, people are too focused with NXT and Dynamite, and they forget Impact's putting up some decent shows.
Yeah.
And they're going under the radar. I think Impact would be a really good place for Heath to end up.
Let's face it, man. He could be a world champion in Impact, to be fair. Like, you know, if history is anything...
Yes.
Yeah, if history is anything, I would say that Heath could be a world champion in Impact Wrestling.
Yeah, I mean, it's good for him if he's got a job there, and he's happy to be back with Rhino. That's awesome. I mean, that's good booking, really. So, yeah, good for him.
I'd like to make a bold prediction right now, so it's recorded. I think in the next 3 to 4 years, Heath Slater will return to WWE and become the Universal Champion.
Ooh,
you heard it here first.
Yeah, wow. I think that's a big prediction, but I don't think it's impossible.
It's not.
I mean, they all thought Jinder's reign would be impossible, but it happened.
Dom, I've never heard you talk about Jinder in such a positive way before. What is going on?
It's because I'm finally ready to be open about my love for Jinder.
The best match of all time was the Punjabi prison match between him and Randy Orton. Is that correct?
No. It was the one where he won against. Right, it was the Collapse Bomb, the 1, 2, 3, that crowd pop, that middle of the road crowd pop that happened when Jinder won the title.
To be fair, Jinder's only got that one move. The rest of them are just rest holds.
He only needs one move to win matches. That's
he only needs it. Yeah, he only needs
why would you need one move if you can finish anybody with that one move? So yeah.
I mean, you know, we're doing this like every week where we're going to have different guests on, and this kid here is just going to be talking about how suddenly Deonna Purrazzo was his favourite wrestler of all time and stuff like that. And speaking of Deonna Purrazzo, that's what we call a segue, Dom. She has appeared in Impact.
Nice. There you go. Nice. Moving on from my Impact story to your Impact story now, Anthony. That was cool.
That's what you call a segue, my love.
Right, so Deonna Purrazzo, yes. I'm not really giving her too much. Obviously, I know she's very talented, very, a really good acquisition and was considered a really good acquisition for WWE. But it's great to see her still having opportunities elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
She never got a chance, man. They never did enough with her. She was in NXT UK very briefly. Put on some good matches as well. They just didn't do out with it.
Yeah,
I'm a
big fan, huge fan. I think it's a great signing for Impact. I think Impact have got the best women's division in wrestling at the minute. I think it's a fantastic get for them. I think it won't be long before she's the women's champion in Impact. I can't praise her enough. I think she's that good. I really do.
Cool.
I don't think she's signed to a long-term deal. I think it's an appearance by appearance basis at the moment. So
she can go anywhere at the minute.
Yeah, I guess we'll see, but hopefully, yeah.
Impact have been known to do stuff like that again. And what you were saying earlier, Jeremiah, about Impact being great, I did a video a few days ago about the top 5 cinematic matches of all time, and Impact was 3 of them.
Well, there we go.
Makes sense. Yeah.
You know,
I think they're so under the radar. People have written them off that many times. And now with the focus on NXT and Dynamite and NWA back, I think people are forgetting about Impact, and they're very slowly becoming a big deal again for me. And it's one of the best shows of the week. I can't wait for Impact.
That's cool. Yeah. We've all got different things that we enjoy, like Jinder Mahal and Heath Slater. Moving on, talking about... I've got no segue for this. Cancelling shows. WWE Live has cancelled in Japan, and the NXT UK tapings in July have been cancelled. Sad news.
Yeah, it's a shame for the UK wrestling community, also for fans in Japan. But I think necessary given the current global pandemic and the sort of impending, or trying to avoid rather, the impending second wave. So, yeah.
I think it's difficult because they've cancelled the shows. Are they going to do tapings or not? The show, like, they've cancelled the shows, but wrestling's essential, right? Or is that just in America, or
Yeah,
what?
I think it's just in America. I think there would have to be a whole new conversation.
Mm.
They're still on about having like fans at SummerSlam in August, aren't they? I'm like, how can you even possibly? I don't know.
It's not going to happen.
Biological bombs.
Yeah, I mean, they're on about, is it opening pubs and bars here by July 4th? So it might be an optimistic thing for them to, to re-up, to start doing tapings and whatever. But I honestly think we're going to get personally, I know we're supposed to talk about wrestling on this, but I think we're sort of asking for a second wave, and obviously we've got to be mindful of that at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I mean,
I personally think it's too soon with a lot about the pubs. I work at Hull Royal, so I'm seeing it firsthand.
Of course, yeah, absolutely.
It's flattening. We are beating it, but I just worry sometimes that Boris Johnson and his little cronies are more interested in the economy than our health, and I think that's the problem. But
yeah, absolutely.
This is wrestling. This is politics. Let's talk wrestling.
Speaking of that, Jeremiah, we are blessed to have you on the podcast. We are filming this on Thursday, and we started this at 8:00. And that I believe that people clap for NHS workers at 8:00 on Thursday.
Absolutely.
And here's our clap for you.
8:00 on Friday, but yeah.
Thank you, Jamie. Thank you very much.
Every day.
Yeah, thank you, man. Cool. No, so what I was sort of getting to with that is I don't understand. I hope that they do some sort of tapings, whether it's at the Performance Centre or whatever, so that it can continue the NXT UK brand.
Well, is it not the Performance Centre in London?
Yeah.
NXT are recording at Full Sail, Raw, SmackDown, whatever is at the Performance Centre. Why can't NXT UK be recorded at the London Performance Centre? Yeah, I totally agree.
Set it up, yeah.
Absolutely.
Plus, it's not really that much different for NXT UK to be formed in front of no people. So, I guess it won't be any different. So, let's do it.
Burn.
Can I give away? I mean, you God, honestly, and we potentially are talking to an NXT UK superstar this weekend. Are you going to say
don't
that?
Throw me under the bus, Jamie. It was a joke. Dick.
No, it wasn't.
Oh, I love the friction. Groovy, let's talk a little bit about Charlotte Flair. She wants to pursue a men's championship in WWE.
Mate, you should have done that before. You're talking about how great you are at segues. We've been talking about Charlotte Flair.
Yeah, I know. But it didn't seem that important. Sorry.
What is this for continuity?
We're like two married couples, aren't we? On a date, like just picturing each other.
It's ridiculous. Yeah. How long have you guys been married to each other? I mean, friends.
3 years. It seems like forever, though.
Mate, don't even get me started. I think we're on our 15th year. Is it 15 years now? Something like that.
You can get less for murder. Charlotte Flair wants to win a men's title. What do we think? I think definitely, actually.
Yeah.
Go for it, Charlotte. Do it. Whatever makes you happy. Doesn't count towards your world title reigns, though. Like if she wins the IC belt, she's not going to class that as like.
Oh, mate, she's winning the world. She's winning the world title, mate. I guarantee. Like, if she's going to win her championship, it's going to be the world title.
Oh no, I think IC, and I think it's actually set up perfectly right now because you've got Daniel Bryan with the IC title, and I think him and Charlotte Flair would put on an amazing match.
Yeah,
I agree.
Really good.
I remember Tessa Blanchard won the Impact World title. Vince McMahon's going to he's going to one up that. So
yeah,
she's probably going to win every single title on the roster.
Yeah,
just
probably.
That one person. But I'm totally up for it. I think Charlotte Flair could very easily go toe to toe with the guys, and I am all for it. Like you said, Charlotte and Daniel Bryan. I think that'd be a hell of a match.
I mean that's sort of perfect for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't want to see Charlotte against Braun. I sort of do know. FTR made the debut on AEW Dynamite.
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 Words. They made their debut on Wednesday against the Butcher and the Blade. And the bunny that's gone, suddenly, she's now a girlfriend of QT Marshall. And
I'm QT Marshall's great. That's fine. Good on him. Congratulations on that angle. And having that happen.
Congratulations on that angle. I mean, he hasn't got a girlfriend, but congratulations on the angle.
Yeah, well, if I was in an angle with the bunny, I'd be cool with it. You know what I mean? Personally.
Indeed, yeah. Did anyone see the match? It was a great match.
Yeah, it was a really good match. Yeah, very old school. Like no flips or anything. Just fists. Yeah. You can't say that anymore.
Yeah, we can't say that now, can we? No.
But it was a good match. Really good finish, actually. They used the stump pile driver.
Spike pile driver,
yeah. Oh God, what did they call it again? Because the shatter machine is now called the Goodnight Express.
That's right.
And the pile driver is the Mindbreaker.
That's right.
Nice.
Yeah. So, really good finish.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the match. It's worth going out your way to watch, actually. It was nice to see AEW bringing in a team and not just putting them in a jobber match. It was a real sort of competitive match, actually.
It was, yeah.
Nicely done.
I've not seen it yet. I will watch it after we have recorded.
It's definitely worth watching. I mean, it's not the best thing that the Revival have ever done, but it certainly shows the intentions and the style that they're going to adopt while in AEW. They held the
tag rope for the whole match.
Yeah.
They held the tag rope.
Yeah.
That was the best part.
It's really subtle, isn't it?
Tag team wrestling. That's old school, man. You're supposed to hold the tag rope.
It makes sense. Darby Allin was on the show AEW with Tony Hawk practicing jumping off a ladder. Eventually he got it and high-fived Tony Hawk. Yay.
That's the whole segment. I was like, okay, cool, that happened.
I mean, I guess because it's Tony Hawk, I think that's what sells that. I'm a huge Darby Allin fan, but Tony Hawk is ratings proven, and obviously they've got the new games coming out soon. So if
can we get Darby Allin in that, please?
Well, I mean, I'll make it happen. I think obviously they'd be smart, just like they've done with Mike Tyson with all of this that he's doing, just like they've done with Mike Tyson at the moment. Getting Tony Hawk in to take advantage of the upcoming marketing storm around the newly revamped Tony Hawk's game. So if that's a plan, and if it isn't a plan, you should watch our podcast and make it a plan. AEW, I guess.
You got out to say about Tony Hawk, dudes?
He was definitely on the show. Yeah, he was on the show.
He was on the show.
He high-fived Darby Allin, and
he's the skateboarder guy, isn't he?
Yes.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's all I know about him.
Right. Ooh, great input. We add a lot to this podcast.
He's the greatest. He's probably the most well-known skateboarder of all time, I think.
I've not met Tom Wood. I mean, come on. Anyway.
Cool. So next story is about Nick Aldis, who we had a great interview with on the channel. You should go check that out. Dom did a really good job on that hour-long interview. It was supposed to be 20 minutes, and Nick just wanted to talk.
Kept talking. Yeah,
just kept talking, which is great. Really, really sort of good. He talks about Edge as well, didn't he? And getting text off Edge and stuff. It was really good. So go check that out. But he has said that he wants to face Curtis Axel for the NWA World Championship one day. Yeah,
which would be great to see Curtis Axel in a prominent role, finally being used appropriately. I think NWA is the place for him.
Well, Mr. Perfect Son in the NWA.
Yeah, completely agree. Yeah, we slightly touched on this last week. I don't think there's any word better for Joe Hennig after WWE, especially at the age that he's at now, where he's like early 40s, I believe. I think the NWA is the perfect place for him to bring that old school style. Jamie, you all right?
I'm sorry.
I think it's the perfect place for him. Bring him to NWA, have that feud, have that match. I think he'd be a great champion.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree.
I think he would.
Yeah. I love the NWA. You guys might know this, but I'm very much old school. I love the NWA. Nick Aldis for me is what Ric Flair was 40 years ago. The way he presents himself, the way he carries the title.
Yeah.
And Curtis Axel, Joe Hennig, is such an underrated guy. I mean, how you're Mr. Perfect son. You're gonna have talent. You hear nothing but good things about the kid. NWA, Joe Hennig, I think is a perfect fit, and I would love to see that feud. I really would.
Absolutely, guys. Yep.
Hello. I've got a story about AJ Styles here, but I've not actually read it. It's CM Punk has been
live story finding.
I mean, CM Punk has been criticising him on Twitter, and AJ Styles is refusing to respond to it.
Fair enough.
Is it regarding what's currently going on worldwide, like with the Black Lives Matter movement, and him not mentioning anything to do with it?
That's the one.
Yeah, okay.
That's why you're here. That's why you're here.
I think CM Punk's bitter and kind of whiny right now. So I just, if CM Punk tweeted me, I'm pretty sure I'd ignore it right now.
No, you wouldn't. You'd be tweeting it all over. You'd be sharing it on all of your different social media platforms.
I think he's a little bit bitter and jaded personally. I've not seen the story personally. I don't know what the context is, but I imagine that CM Punk's whining about something. So
is there a reason why he's particularly going to AJ? I mean, I'm sure there's other people that haven't mentioned anything as well.
It's all about the racial inequality in America. Punk's quite opinionated, isn't he? Yeah.
What?
Yes. So yeah, I don't know enough about this story he put Silence Speaks Volumes, seeing AJ Styles promote streams and stuff, but he couldn't be bothered to post anything that makes it clear how he feels. That was a tough unfollow.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard, isn't it? I suppose it's that question of, is it their place to, as superstars, they should be able to have an opinion on politics or global things, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they should have to share that.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen it with Jackson Riker, haven't we, and his political stance, and how a lot of people are distancing, even his Forgotten Sons teammates are distancing themselves from him in the wake of his Trump support. So, I think opinions are fine, but you've got to be very careful with the platform that you have.
It's difficult with the Riker one, though, because his wasn't just about... It was the way he was using the gimmick as part of the tweet regarding the politics. So it sort of crosses that line between personal opinion and character opinion.
Yeah, it was a bit of a weird one, that, but that's his cross to bear, man.
Absolutely.
He's got to live with that tweet.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think he's coming out with the Forgotten Sons, isn't he?
One thing's for sure.
I think that's been dropped.
You're not going to get fired for being a Trump supporter in WWE.
Well, no. No, definitely. What, you mean the Hall of Fame Trump?
Exactly.
Oh, my God, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, let's move on from politics and all that jazz, and let's talk about Backlash this weekend.
Yeah. Okay, Backlash predictions. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Cool. Are you excited, Jeremiah?
I actually am. I'm always excited for pay-per-views. I'm very excited.
There's nothing to be excited on this card. Just throw that out there from the start. Are you excited, Callum?
I am ecstatic.
Dom, are you excited?
I mean, there's a degree of sarcasm on this podcast. So you know what? I'm going to be like, yes, I'm really excited because I know that Braun's going to beat Bobby Lashley and then The Fiend's going to come and that's going to set up a nice match between The Fiend and Strowman for the title, which I'm excited about.
Right, I'm gonna make a little bet with you here. I bet you say your house that Bobby Lashley does not beat Braun Strowman.
Oh no, not Bobby Lashley.
That's
Braun
right,
Strowman.
because that match isn't happening, you plonker.
Sorry. You know what I mean? Bobby Lashley and Braun Strowman versus The Miz and Morrison. Thank you. I was just checking the card.
Right, okay, you can talk about that in a minute and get your point across. Jeff Hardy versus Sheamus.
I'm excited about that. Love Jeff Hardy. He's going to win.
Jeff Hardy.
Are you excited, Callum?
Sure. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah. Apparently, they've recorded one of the most controversial angles ever on SmackDown this week with Sheamus and Jeff Hardy. Don't know what.
What you mean? No, that was the drunk driver thing, right?
No, that was the week. I'm talking this week tomorrow night. Apparently, they've recorded something else, another shocking angle or something. But
wow.
It's going to get worse, Tom, because WWE like to point out the flaws in people's personalities as opposed to exploring their history in a positive light.
Exactly. I'll go with Jeff Hardy as well.
Are you all going Jeff? Well, Sheamus is winning this for me. Next match, Apollo Crews versus Andrade. Possibly the best looking match on the card, I think.
Apollo Crews, too early for him to lose it.
Apollo Crews, yeah.
No, I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to say Andrade's going to get it back.
Andrade's winning. No, I'm going to say Apollo Crews is keeping it. This is just his way of solidifying his United States Championship run. Women's Tag Team Championship, Bayley, Sasha Banks, Alexa Bliss, and Nikki Cross versus the Iconics, a three-way.
What if the Iconics take it because Bayley cost Sasha or Sasha cost Bayley, and we go straight into it?
Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying that, yeah. You know what? I'm going to say that. I think it's a very quick title run for the two of them.
I'm going to go with Sasha and Bayley. I think they're going to drag it out a little bit longer.
Yeah,
cool.
I'm going Sasha Bayley. And
right.
I think we'll end up getting Sasha Bayley at SummerSlam. So I think they'll hold the titles for a little bit longer.
Cool.
Yeah, I agree. Sasha Bayley. I don't think we'll get them at SummerSlam because I think that they are going to wait until they get crowds back. And I don't think that's happening at SummerSlam. Raw Women's Championship match. But isn't that uninspired, man? Isn't this an uninspiring card? Raw Women's Championship, Asuka versus Nia Jax. Who's winning, Dom?
Asuka's winning this one. Easy.
Cool. Callum?
Asuka. Yeah,
cool.
Sure.
Jeremiah?
I don't know. I want to be excited for it. I just can't.
Come on. Yeah, Asuka. Yeah.
Yeah, Asuka's winning this, so that shows that all of us know exactly how the match is going to go. So let's make it more interesting. Is Asuka going to get an injury which ends up seeing her off TV for a long time? Dom? She's against Nia Jax, by the way.
No, I think Nia will be all right this time. I'm gonna be daring, and I'm gonna say Nia Jax is not gonna win Asuka this one time.
Yeah.
Dom's
I'll go with you as well. I'll yeah, okay. I know it's a risky bet, but I don't think she's going to injure her.
None of you are playing the percentages very well. Jeremiah?
Well, I feel horrible because I've met Nia and she's an absolute sweetheart. But I think she'll probably break one of Asuka's bones. Yeah.
I've met her and she's lovely, but she's really, really bad.
But she's gonna really mess her up. Yeah.
Did you cuddle her and she proper bear hugged you?
Yeah. She's an absolute sweetheart.
I bet she is. I bet she is.
Yeah, I think she'll probably break Asuka's legs or something. Yeah, why not?
Right, next match on the card that no one cares about. Braun Strowman burying the tag team division against The Miz and John Morrison.
Don't you mean Braun Strowman versus Bobby Lashley? No, Braun Strowman versus The Miz and John Morrison. Obviously, Braun Strowman is taking this. The Fiend is coming out. It's going to set up a glorious match for them in which The Fiend is going to win the title back.
I've got some really good booking for this that doesn't involve The Fiend at all, but I'll tell you that when you get to it, so carry on.
Well, that's me. That's why I think Braun Strowman's winning.
Callum?
I think Miz and Morrison are going to become the Universal Champion.
What?
He doesn't really. He's just been awkward.
No,
it's fine. No, that's cool. How do you think that's going to happen?
I think it's going to be Skull Crushing finale, Starship Pain, Job's a good one.
Really?
Yep.
I must admit, it is always Starship Pain when I have to watch John Morrison. But I'll go with Strowman. I don't think you'll see The Fiend, though. That's just my opinion.
I don't think. Yeah, I think the Strowman's winning. What I'd say about this, a really interesting angle to go, because I was thinking about the lack of black champions within WWE and how Black Lives Matter at the minute, and that's sort of a big thing. And we had Kofi Kingston last year, but that was a long time ago. And actually, how it would be great for them to have another black champion at this time as well. And we know that WWE are talking about Black Lives Matter as well. And I was thinking, who could be a decent black champion on SmackDown? And I thought this could be a really good way to go to Big E. So you have him bury Miz and Morrison. The New Day take exception to that. They win against Braun Strowman in a similar setup handicap match, which then goes into a SummerSlam feud between Big E and Braun Strowman.
Wait, what? How did we get to there? Right, hang on a second. Right now we're at Backlash with Braun Strowman versus The Miz and John Morrison. How do you get from there to Big E?
Because what you do is you have the New Day saying that Braun Strowman's burying the tag team division and that it was just a fluke and what have you, and they show anger at that, and they can also play it up in social media. And then you go with Big E for the championship win that people want to see. I think that'd be really good. And let's face it, I mean, does anyone really care about Braun Strowman's championship win?
Wait, hold on. So you're saying that after this match and Braun Strowman wins, the New Day take exception to Braun Strowman burying the tag team division.
Yes.
And that's how this happens.
Yes.
Okay, lads, Ringsiders, I've got nothing for that. So
it's safe to say I think Big E is going to be a world champion at some point.
Definitely.
I think they'll give it to Xavier Woods before they give it to Big E.
I think you're mistaken.
Wow.
But all right, anyway, go on.
Right, the main event is actually the greatest wrestling match ever.
We haven't even done Drew and Bobby, have we?
Oh yeah, let's do Drew and Bobby.
Drew.
Drew.
Right,
yeah.
So greatest wrestling match ever.
Thank you, Callum. Segue done. Edge versus Randy Orton.
Drew and Bobby, it's a tough one. We'll go Drew.
Hey, cat's in the house. Woo! Cats.
Callum, give us your thoughts on Randy Orton versus Edge.
It's going to be decent, but it's not the most decent match ever in history that they're billing it as.
It's going to be okay.
It's the okayest match ever.
Don't use that, Don, because you said this is a 10%. Last week, 2 weeks ago, he said this has a 10% chance of being the greatest wrestling match ever.
It does have a 10% chance of being the greatest.
It doesn't even have a 10% chance of being the greatest wrestling match of this week.
I think it's going to be a decent match. It's going to be, might even be good, but it's not going to be great.
I really like Edge's analogy when he did an interview this week, didn't he? And he said it's perception. It could be the greatest wrestling match ever to fan A, but maybe not to fan B. It's how you take it. You know.
He also said it's a load of crap that they've called the match that.
Edge just tried to, put a bit of sugar on that dog tag, basically. I'm looking forward to the two guys who I have so much respect for. Edge is one of my favourite guys ever. Another guy I met him is a lovely. He is exactly what he did on TV. He's just a funny, sweet guy. Orton is just one of the greatest of all time. I think it's going to be a great match. It's not going to be the greatest wrestling match ever, but it's going to be a great match. I think Orton's taking it. And I think you're going to get the third match maybe at SummerSlam. I think you're going to get a rubber. Edge won the first one. Orton's going to win this one. I think you're going to get some at SummerSlam maybe.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah, agreed. So I think Orton's winning. But I think that they're doing this greatest wrestling match for a heel ending, for a screwy finish is what they're doing it for, and for people to go, this was great, and then Randy Orton ruined it by getting DQ'd or whatever it is, and that's I get it. I get what it is, but I don't like the pressure that they've put on the match. Apparently they've already filmed the match, and it was 35 minutes worth of filming, which you can obviously edit as well, and we're in a time where you can do stuff like that and try and actually piece something together that's hopefully better than the WrestleMania performance.
That wasn't terrible. I'm just saying it. I'm just saying.
I enjoyed the WrestleMania.
enjoyed that.
Yeah, it wasn't terrible.
You're all wrong. Dom, what do you think about this match?
Edge is gonna win.
Edge is going to win.
Edge is gonna win.
Okay. Didn't see that. Cool. Is it? What's your percentages this week, Dom?
It's got a 10% chance of being the greatest wrestling match of all time.
Dude, you are the Scott Steiner of maths.
I mean, that promo is legendary, and I won't hear anything else about it.
How do you come up with your 10%, please?
I'm just saying, I'm right.
Lads, is it going to be the best wrestling match of all time?
No, I'm going to go with 1% chance.
1%? I think that's high.
Yeah, I'd agree as well. That is high. But I think it has a chance.
Okay. I think with the editing, I think they can do something interesting.
Yeah.
See what happens. I think that's the only match that I'm really looking forward to actually seeing. Not because of the match, but because I'm interested to see what they do at the end. To be honest.
We
managed to edit Ringsiders into somewhat of a watchable show sometimes. So I'm sure WWE can do the same with Edge and Orton. So.
Oh, we don't edit here. We don't edit. It's uncensored. That's it, dudes. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks so much for having us.
Having us.
You're welcome. Thank you for everything that you're doing in the world, Jeremiah. It was awesome. Can you tell everyone a little bit about your channel and where to find it and where they can find you on social media and all that sort of jazz?
That's where Callum comes in.
Okay, because I'm the only one who remembers where you can find us. So you can find us at Ringsiders Pod on Twitter and Instagram. You can check out our website to find all of our videos, our interviews, news at ringsiderswrestling.com. Go to whatamaneuver.net, search for Ringsiders Wrestling. You'll find all of our merch. I'm sure there's more. We have MySpace, Pixo, Bebo, you name it, we've got it.
Bebo?
Yeah, we've
MySpace,
got
amazing.
all socials covered, mate. You've got to cover every social media. We've got Friendster, whatever it is. So yeah, just search for Ringsiders Wrestling. You'll find us. Jamie, we can't talk about them yet. Not until July 7th. Jesus Christ.
That's why I was just pointing and not saying.
Well, congratulations on the sponsorship. That's amazing, and it's your channel's really good. Like we both really enjoy your channel. It's great to see
Thank you so much.
Another podcast in Hull that's producing quality content.
Likewise, we're big fans of your work. We love your interviews, and we'll definitely be back on in the future. Maybe even with Kurt.
Yeah, absolutely.
Groovy.
It'd be a pleasure to have you guys back, and yeah, just. Keep on. I was about to say keep on trucking. That was like a terrible.
I knew you were going to say that.
Keep on trucking. Nah. Just congratulations on all you do, guys. And yeah, I guess do we do the Gimme A Hull Yeah? Do we get? That's how we do it. We like Gimme A Hull Yeah. Oh, that's terrible.
Is that what we do? Like...
Oh no.
Oh
Gimme A Hull
my.
Yeah.
There you go. That's way. Oh my God, that was like the worst. Hang on. We'll count it down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Give me a
Hull Yeah!
Oh,
Give me
fuck.
Gimme A Hull Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
This is Broken Matt Hardy. Thank you for watching the Gimme A Hull Yeah Wrestling Podcast.